when you walk through a storm.
It is that I'm running out of energy. I will leave the club at the end of the season.
I'm absolutely devastated. Jürgen, I love the bones of you, man.
Jürgen Klopp may be saying goodbye, but he will be waving with a trophy in his hand.
I love absolutely everything about this club.
Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0.
The first league defeat for Manchester City since the 5th of April last year.
After all the years we had together and after all the time we spent together, love grew for you. We are Liverpool.
Walk on through the wind.
Yes, for the final time, Jürgen Klopp will walk out at Anfield and listen to You'll Never Walk Alone as the Liverpool manager. He's been in charge of the Reds since October 2015, but is leaving then at the end of this season after a reign that has seen win the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup and 2 League Cups as well. Yesterday, he joined Instagram in a move to stay connected with Liverpool fans. Didn't know that, after he leaves, and has shared a tear-jerking farewell video. He admits that he's not a social media guy, but after 9 years at Anfield, wants to stay in touch with people, saying his time at the club has been a love affair. Ahead of the game, he spoke to the press and explained his emotions heading into it.
This is the last game of the season, yes, and after that is holiday. That's what I had for the last 24 years, so business as usual. Knowing that everything around the game, during the game, will be completely different. Yesterday, the players said goodbye in their way. We had a little barbecue here. It was really nice. The day before yesterday, I was with the staff of Chapel Street. It was really, really nice. Sunny the stadium after that. Another goodbye celebration, whatever. It's a lot. And I had very emotional moments, of course, in between. But it's a lot to do as well. Saying goodbye, I don't think is ever nice. But saying goodbye without feeling sad or feeling hurt or whatever, that would just mean that the time we spent together was not right and not great. And we had a great time. So it was always clear that it will be tough.
He had a great time, he said, as he had his final press conference or pre-match press conference ahead of their game against Wolves then at Anfield today. When you hear what he had to say and some of those memories as well, how does it make you feel, Cass, as a fan?
Well, I was just proud that he was the manager of the football club that I support. I've said that all along. The way he conducted himself, I think sometimes he'd be the shop steward and get a little bit angry, and he's had his feisty moments, and I'm sure other managers were a little bit upset with him, which has happened along the way. He's put together some amazing sides. Liverpool teams that are really great to watch. Loved it. Some of the exciting games that Liverpool have put on. I mean, I could think of the turnaround against Barcelona when they won the Champions League, 3-0 down from the first leg, win at Anfield 4-0 in the return game. No Mo Salah in that team, no Firmino in that team, and yet they won 4-0 and got through to the Champions League final, which they won. There were great moments under Jürgen Klopp, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a joyride. He said, rock and roll football, whatever we want to call it, heavy metal football. You can't be disappointed when you watch Jürgen Klopp's team play. Whether it's Mainz or whether it's Dortmund. I remember his Dortmund team. I didn't see anything of Mainz, but I would imagine that he had this idea that this is the way he wanted to play, and he was excited. But Dortmund was exciting as well. I can remember them beating Dortmund as well at Anfield 4-3 after being down, losing the first leg 2-0, and then being down in the home game and then turning that around and winning 4-3. I can remember that game as well.
Inevitably, Cass, there are always Debbie Downers when it comes to certain managers and certain teams, and Jürgen Klopp comes in for a stick from rival fans. Yeah. What would you say, partly because he's only won one Premier League title, for example, and some will argue, well, did he really push Manchester City every season that he has been here since?
Well, who else pushed Man City if it wasn't Liverpool?
Well, I was going to ask you though, what has he done to Liverpool in the 9 years that he's been here?
Well, he's rebuilt a team. He's made Liverpool challenge again. He's made Liverpool fans really excited about what they're going to see. Got to a champion. They won FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League, Premier League. They've won everything. Is it to the same level? I'll tell you what, Nat, that if you look at Bill Shankly, you look at his record, Him and Jürgen won the same amount of trophies. And Bill Shankly was there longer, another 5 years plus longer. You know, Bob Paisley set the standard of the records. Bob Paisley's winning was extraordinary. He won like 7 more trophies than Jürgen. But Liverpool were great teams then. You know, from the Shankly team and onwards, from Paisley's, they chose and got the best players around at that period of time. Jürgen has had to play second fiddle, rebuild a club, and have a competitive team, and also get players that are loved by the supporters. He's achieved all of them goals.
And I suppose he's turned them into winners in the sense of winning competitions. May
Yeah.
not, okay, one Premier League title, but he has won a Champions League. He's won the League Cup. He's won the FA Cup. He's won everything that pretty much there has been to win, domestically, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you have won more? Well, maybe. Of course you could. You know, you've lost finals as well as you've lost Europa League finals. You've lost the Champions League final. You know, you can win more. But Liverpool were in the ballpark of being there. You know, they've been in title races. They've been in finals that they can win. And that's, I think, all you can ask as a fan is that you see an improvement, an overachievement with the players that he buys. Some of his transfers now that have come into the club, people like Mo Salah. Well, obviously that's a recruitment team working at a football club, but people like Alisson, people like Van Dijk, you know, really top players that have become big names in Liverpool's history.
Well, when you look at the traditional Big Six, he has had the lowest net spend of any of those sides since his appointment at Anfield, and yet he has won the second most amount of trophies. Yeah. So if you're looking at it simply from that angle, he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, he's got value for money. And that's, you know, with what he spent. You know, I know that Van Dijk was a lot of money, and so was Alisson. But there was a lot of £40 million players where there was other players being bought for a lot more than that Liverpool have made world stars. You know, Mo Salah is one of the most recognised player in the world, and he was a 40-odd million pound player. You know, I think you can. I can't see how you can give anything but a thumbs up to what he's done at Anfield.
I mean, there are plenty that disagree with you.
Why? How could they disagree on?
Because they do. They will say, I mean, look, I've just seen this text come through from Howard, who he says, groan, here we go again with Klopp FM. Most officials and non-Liverpool supporters won't miss Klopp's disgraceful antics on the touchline. He makes Jose look like a choir boy. Also, he says, to be accurate, he has not consistently pushed Pep, as only 3 of his 9 years has Liverpool finished in the top 2. That's
right, okay. Liverpool between 81 and 90 were in first or second in the top flight because it's the old Division 1.
Sure.
Every year. Okay, that was the Liverpool of old. What he then did was rebuilt a team. And yes, they don't always, you know, if you take last season, it wasn't a good season for Liverpool. They came 5th. They had a very tricky season last year. You could see there was loads of issues. And the number of players left the football club, experienced players. I can't see how you can make an argument Klopp hasn't done a good job at Anfield. That's just laughable to me. Whether you're a fan of somebody else, Man United would like to have the success now, or getting close to what's happened with Klopp at their football club. You know, and so would Chelsea. Chelsea were big winners over the last 2 decades. You know, look how Arsenal have struggled since Wenger left, and now you sort of think, well, Arteta's won a couple of, you know, cup competitions. Well, he's won the FA Cup, hasn't he? That's what he's won. But he's rebuilt a football club. If you said to me now, Arteta at Arsenal, what he's achieved, he's done a brilliant job at rebuilding that football club that now make them competitive.
And you know what? The other thing as well, and some people might not look at this as an important thing, but, you know, it's that connection you build.
Yeah.
With
Which
the fans.
is the other side with Liverpool. Yeah.
Because obviously under Brendan Rodgers, it didn't end great in the end. There was a divide with the fans. But he has clearly had such a strong, powerful connection with the fans, which is why you heard that lady ring up in that piece a little bit earlier on, who was just devastated that he had decided to leave Liverpool. And I think that's also sometimes the mark of a man.
Yeah. And this season, there were so many highs and it eventually petered out in the last few weeks. I said the moment the season ended for Liverpool was the Atalanta result, where they got beat in the Champions League and it all sort of fell away. They went for a difficult run. But the team has been excellent this year.
OK, Cass, up next, we are going to bring you the latest odds from Coral and find out how much a signed Tony Cascarino poster is worth. Also, on the topic of goodbye songs that we've been playing, the production team here on the Breakfast Show wanted to play this for you, Cass, with Klopp leaving.
So long, farewell, I'll be there saying goodnight. I hate to go and leave this pretty sight.
No.
Weekend Sports Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.